What is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 9-game NBA main slate on Friday, TGIF. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make content for daily fantasy sports, Prize Picks, which is a player prop site, and for NBA Top Chat / NFL all day. Premium content, I do offer that on patreon.com for more in-depth DFS content if that's something that interests you. The sponsor of this video, as I mentioned, is Prize Picks, which is a player prop site. A lot of different ways you can play. You can mix and match sports. It's really, really fun, and you can win up to 10x your money. So if you guys want to give it a try, you can sign up and use my code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. That basically means you'll get a free $100 to play with on the site. All right, so I mean, where do I even begin, right? Where? It was this close to me bringing out the notebook. This close, but I have to save those, right? That's like a couple of times a year slate, but I was this close because again, like I said, where do I start? There's so many things. I mean, why start Yurt 7 if you're going to play him 5 minutes, right? How about that? Why are we starting? Why? Why does he have to be 3K? Why couldn't he be like 4,500 so I didn't have to worry about it? Obviously, a 3K starting center who's a great point per minute guy, I'm thinking, okay, I don't have a good idea on what the minutes are going to be. But I'm like, all right, he's at least guaranteed a shift in the first quarter and a shift in the third quarter and probably gets a shift in the second quarter. So I'm thinking minimum, mid-teens minutes, probably looking at low 20s for a fair guess. Maybe on the high end, like mid to high 20s. But again, he's such a good point per minute guy. So start him and play 5 minutes. Mr. Gary Trent Jr. Wow. What a game from him tonight. Unbelievable game. He is so good. Wow. I mean, I have faded this guy 3 or 4 times this year when he's been massive chalk. When there's been, one guy out from the Raptors and he's just massive chalk. And every single time it burns me and he shoots 75% from the field and just crushes my dreams. 40 fancy points every time, just can't miss a shot. So I'm thinking, okay, I can't lose any more money fading a chalk Gary Trent. I can't. It hurts too much. I gotta finally buy into the chalk. Right? I'm gonna finally buy into the chalk and just I can't keep getting burned. So sure enough, what does he do? 4 of 23 shooting. And that's not me over exaggerating either. I do that a lot when I'm very tilted. It's actually what he shot. 4 of 23. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say this. I could have shot better than that. And I'm an awful shooter. I'm a good, do-it-all guy, good finishing around the rim. I can't shoot well. I could shoot better than 4 of 23. 4 of 23, just let that kind of, just think about that, right? A sharp shooter, 4 of 23. Low and Bam Adebayo. How about foul trouble? Thinking, okay, maybe it's Yurt 7 that gets extra run? No way. Dust off Dwayne Dedmon. Throw him in there. No way. We're just going to start Yurt 7 and play him 2 minutes. Gabriel Vincent. Gabriel Vincent. So he's just going to smash. He's going to smash when Jimmy Butler's playing, right? When their highest usage player is in, he's going to smash. No Jimmy Butler, can't hit the broadside of a barn. Cardio. Literally just out there for a workout. Cardio for Gabe Vincent. Oh, I'm not done. No way. No, we got some other stuff to talk about here. Kade Cunningham. Don't play him again. Back-to-back times I don't play Kade after playing him for like 4 straight slates. Every time I did, massive foul trouble. Tonight, no way. No, I didn't have him. No foul trouble. Absolute smash. Like a 50 bomb for Kade. I play him 2 fouls in 4 minutes every time. Every time. Trey Young. Sure you remember what happened last week when I played him. Made him a core play. 3 of 17 shooting. How about another absolute smash for him? What do you finish with? 39, 13, and 3. I play him. 3 of 23 shooting. I'm so tired of coaches this year. Is Alvin Gentry serious? Is he? How about this? How about this quote? Coach Gentry will shorten the rotation of his players Thursday after the team had travel issues flying to San Antonio. Let's take a look at what De'Aaron Fox played. 39 minutes. Yeah, shorten the rotation by 20 seconds. What are you talking about? Complete lie. Just like most coaches this year. Flat out liars. How about De'Aaron Fox? After I make him a core play last night, no assists. No, he's scoring dependent. I check what he has at halftime. He has 15 points and 8 assists at half. I play De'Aaron Fox. 2 or 3 total assists the entire game. An absolute smash for De'Aaron Fox tonight. 26, 9, and 6, almost a triple-double, 50 fancy points. Yay, we're throwing a party for De'Aaron Fox and Coach Gentry. We love him. I'm not done. No way. How about the late game? How about when we went over a couple slates ago where I said I needed a couple points from Austin Reeves to take down? Just a couple. He finished with 2 points, 2 fantasy points in like 25 minutes and got injured. Rolled his ankle at the end of the game, right? If you remember that. Comes out of the game. That's like 9 points, 1 assist, a steal in like 5 minutes. I don't know what he's finished. I play Talon, Horton, Tucker on the Showdown slate. How about this? I play him on the Showdown slate. He's in, right? He's probable after the game starts. After we're like a quarter and a half in. No. He's in street clothes. Play to Dwight Howard. Cardio first quarter. Literally a donut for a great point per minute guy in 7 minutes in the first quarter. I think that's it. But like I said, right? This close. It's like 20 players we had to go over and coaches. Unbelievable stuff. Ownership and high stakes, courtside, $1,500 entry. Malachi Flynn, 85% owned. Siakam is just send him to the G League. I mean, really. Clint Capella, 30% owned. Boucher got 20% ownership. Yurt 7, 55% owned for people that played over $1,500 tonight. Max Struss, 73%. Gabe Vincent, 41%. Winning lineup: Flynn, Monk, Martin, Horford, Capella, Murray, Barnes, Bam. Just kind of speechless. Kind of speechless. All right, let's talk about this slate, guys. Indiana and Detroit. So we'll start with Malcolm Brogdon at 7'6", who played 36 minutes in regulation. So that's really, really good to see. Right? First couple games back, he only played about 30. So if we're going to go back to normal, like 35-plus minutes from Brogdon, I think he's a little bit underpriced even at 7'6". So I do like Brogdon there. I think Halliburton's fine. I think I lean Brogdon over Halliburton for the discount, but both will do a ton of the ball handling, and they've shown they can both get there in the game. Buddy Hield continues to play this huge minutes. He played 39 minutes in regulation. I think that's totally fine for Hield. He's going to play huge minutes. One guy I do want to mention here that's been playing a lot recently, Jaylen Smith. So he played 37 minutes off the bench last game. If we're going to continue to get over 30 minutes from Jaylen Smith, I think he's a pretty solid play. Now, will we get those minutes? That I'm not sure about, but he's been playing well. So I would think, like, why not? Why not play your young guy that you just, acquired? So I think Smith is definitely viable. On the Detroit side, like I said, so here we go. Kade Cunningham in a good matchup. Just went for a 50 bomb. Back-to-back games and no foul trouble. It's looking good. I'm just telling you, if I play him, he's getting in foul trouble. If he can stay out of foul trouble, this is the ceiling, right? He has 50 fantasy point ceiling. Great matchup. He does have shooting guard, small forward eligibility. No idea why. He's the point guard, but that's good for people that want to play Kade because it's easier to get him in. So, yeah, I think Cade's definitely in play. Obviously got to deal with the foul trouble issues. Don't know if I get to anyone else, though, on the Detroit side, to be honest. Atlanta and Washington, so Trey Young, another one, right? I've played him a couple times this year. Well, both times, just can't hit a shot. So, absolute smash for him tonight. I think he's in a good matchup. I think he's definitely in play. No John Collins. He's going to do everything for the team. So if I play him, he will bust. If I don't, he's going to go off again. Clint Capella, pretty safe play at 6'2". Good rebounder. Should play low 30s minutes. Probably get you close to double-double. So I think he's a pretty safe play there. The secondary options are just that. Secondary plays, Bogdanovich, Gallinari, Hunter, and Herter. Probably one of those guys is a good game. Good luck trying to figure out which one's going to be. Gorgie Jang has been playing the backup 5 with Okongwu a little bit banged up. Assuming Okongwu is still out. Let's see, where is Jang? Yeah, Gorgie Jang's a flat min price, so played 15 minutes tonight. I think, it's playable, right? Because Gorgie Jang's not a bad point per minute guy, so yeah, I think he's in consideration. Plus, Washington has shown that they're going to run like a traditional center out there for a majority of the game. Moving on to Washington, again, my boy Kuzma, 9'4". Doesn't really stand out, but I think the matchup's good. He's gone for 60 in 2 of the last 3 games, so we know the ceiling's there for him. The rest of the Wizards, it gets tricky. So, KCP, Denny, Neto, Kispert. Again, kind of like those Atlanta wings. They're just more secondary plays for me. Gafford started. He only played 20 minutes, even though he's playing well. They closed with Thomas Bryant, so that's a little bit concerning. Plus, his price went way up. So, Gafford and Bryant should split the center minutes. Both more tournament plays for me. Probably don't get to get a Rui at 3-3. I guess you can consider him if he's going to play, around 20 minutes. But I like Rui more when he's going to play the backup 5 instead of the 4. So, move on to Cleveland. We talked about this too. Garland was on pace for 40 minutes of the game didn't blow out. After a back injury has kept him out so many games, just play him as many minutes as he can. What is that? But yeah, like I said, Garland was on pace for massive minutes if the game did not blow out. So if we're going to get close to 40 minutes from Garland, he's too cheap, even though Philadelphia's had a tougher defense. I think Garland's too cheap at 7'9". So I think he looks like a really solid play. The bigs, obviously, got to deal with Embiid, so I'm a little worried about foul trouble for Allen. Mobley at 7'3" just feels priced about right. Love, the drill, right? Minutes are all over the place. If he does play 25-plus minutes, he could smash, but the floor is there, right? If the minutes are not there, he's not going to get there. It's just pretty simple. So Love's always going to play for tournaments. Markkanen, neutral play for me. And I think that's it for the Cleveland side. On the Philadelphia side, not much that I'm liking outside of, the top guys in Embiid and Harden. They're just dominating the usage. It's a tougher spot, but I think both are in play as contrarian spot ups. I don't think I prioritize either, but it's James Harden's Embiid. So they can still get there in a tough matchup. We just saw like 80 from Harden against the Knicks. So it's really those two, and that's it for me. Milwaukee and Chicago. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, great matchup here. I think he looks really good at the top. No real blowout risk playing on the road at Chicago. So I think Giannis looks like one of the safer spot ups of the board. Holiday, Middleton, Portis, they all always look pretty similar. Like Holiday and Middleton are priced about right. Same with Portis. It's a revenge game for Portis. Play low 30s minutes. Again, like it's fine. Value-wise, the minutes have been down on Allen. They've been, dusting off some of these other veterans. There's really not much Milwaukee value that I'm looking to. On the Chicago side, kind of not much either. DeRozan at like 10K doesn't stand out. 8.8 for Vooch feels about right. 8K for Levine. I mean, probably the easiest guy to get to of the three, but it's not like he's super cheap either. I was doing the ball handling. I mean, he's playing some pretty big minutes, but I guess he's fine. There's not much in Chicago that really stands out. Orlando and Toronto, not a ton here either. A little bit of a tougher spot here. Carter Jr. is now priced at 8K. I mean, he's the guy that probably plays the most of the starters, but like 8K for Carter Jr. feels about right. The minutes have been down on Anthony and Suggs with Markelle Fultz playing off the bench, so hard to go to either of those guards. Franz Wagner had a good game, but that was an outlier. I think the one guy I'm interested in is Mo Bamba at 5'2". 34 minutes, so it was like low 30s or like 29 minutes from him in regulation. He's a good point per minute guy, and if the minutes are there, the ceiling is there. So like he's always someone I'm intrigued by for GPPs. Markelle Fultz, I mean, if he's going to continue to be limited to like 16 to 20 minutes, then I can't go there. If we get news that this is going to bump up, then I'll also be interested in Fultz. So keep an eye on that, but that's really it for Orlando. Toronto, I'm just tired of this team too. Like this team has caused me so much pain over the last week. Pascal Siakam, all these Gary Trent. I mean, I won a tournament stacking this team, and the game blew out just a few slates ago. It's just incredible pain, this team. So we have OG already confirmed out. Thad Young and Van Fleet questionable. I would say neither play since it's a back-to-back. And if that is the case, unfortunately, the Toronto guys look pretty good. Gary Trent Jr. going to get a massive usage bump if he can actually hit the broadside of a barn. Pascal Siakam going to get an assist bump. Those two look pretty good. Scotty Barnes has been great. He's been the most consistent over the last few games. Maybe he's the safest bet of the big three right now, and he's also the cheapest. As far as the other plays go, so Malachi Flynn didn't play as much as for the previous game. He only played 27 minutes, which was a little bit concerning. But he's still really cheap to a point where, like, I'm still willing to eat that chalk. As far as the bigs with, Thad Young, if Thad Young's out, then like Achua and Boucher, you would think get more minutes. It was Achua that got the big bump. He played 28 minutes. Boucher, it did get a bump too, played 27. So, like, those two look pretty good, assuming that Van Fleet and Thad Young both do not play. And then Kem Birch will continue to start, but the upside is just way higher on Achua and Boucher. And then, like, if Van Fleet and Thad Young are both in, I don't know if there's anyone that really stands out. I mean, they'd all be more like secondary plays. Minnesota and OKC. So no Anthony Edwards. I think the main two guys look pretty good here in Cat and D'Lo. A great matchup against the Thunder, and they get a usage bump without Anthony Edwards. So yeah, I like the two Minnesota main guys in D'Lo and in Karl-Anthony Towns. Expect, probably low to mid-30s minutes from D'Lo and probably mid-30s from Cat. Everyone else, Patrick Beverly at 5K, would assume mid-20s minutes makes him a fair play there in the mid-range. Vanderbilt's questionable. McDaniels has been in foul trouble like every single game. I think if McDaniels could stay out of foul trouble, he could push for 30 minutes in this game. So he's a value play I'm definitely intrigued by. Like Vanderbilt at 4-3, if he plays mid-20s minutes, is a fair play as well. And I'm ready to lose some money with Malik Beasley. This guy, another guy who's caused me incredible pain. Every time I play him, he can't hit a shot either. But a 7-11 shooting game in 28 minutes, if he's going to play mid-20s minutes at basically mid-price, you got to have consideration. But I just know I'm going to play him, and he's going to shoot like 1 of 9 from the field. I just lock that in, right? It's just... On the Thunder side, another team I just really don't like talking about. But basically all these questionable guys are once again out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 10-3. I mean, he's going to do everything for the team, and it's a good spot. So, like, I still have interest in Shai, even at the price point. Baisley and Mann in the mid-range, both should play over 30 minutes. I think both are solid options as well. Trey Mann is kind of score independent, but again, both Baisley, Mann in play. Pokusevski started last game. If he starts again, I think he's a pretty solid option. Not a bad point per minute guy. 35 fantasy points from him last couple games. And then Isaiah Roby, if he can stay out of foul trouble, I mean, he does have a ceiling. Now, 50 fantasy points is definitely an outlier, but we've seen 51 and 43 from him in 2 of the last 5 games. So, assuming that he starts, I think he's a solid option. Once again, off the bench, probably don't get to a guy like Vitt. I guess like Maladon is probably the bench guy to consider. You know, probably going to play close to 20 minutes. He's been pretty productive. If the game blows out, he could get, extended a little bit more there. All right, a few games left, guys. Utah and New Orleans. So we did get the price bump there from Mitchell at 9.3. It feels about right. I think he's still a decent option, but doesn't look as good as he did last slate. And Barrett 8.2 still feels a little bit too cheap. Like I said, a little bit of a price bump, but for a guy that's going to play like mid-30s minutes, I think he's a pretty safe option. The rest of Utah is just no one's ever excites me here with Conley or Bogdanovich or Clarkson. Whiteside will play the backup 5, but like a 4.8K, it's too expensive for me to take a shot there. So there's really not much else. On the New Orleans side, I mean, I have some interest in the main guys as contrarian options. Like I said, Utah has not been the same defensive team as they have been in previous years. So people always, like this year, what I'm noticing is people to see Utah on the schedule and just avoid them. It's not like they've been like the Miami Heat, right? It's like this team has not been the same defense. So like McCollum, Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, all in play here for tournaments. I think Jackson Hayes at 5'2", if he can stay out of foul trouble, is a decent option in the mid-range. Because he's been playing about 30 minutes, right? He's starting at the 4 and also playing the backup 5. Devontae Graham is really, really cheap at 3.8. I mean, he's been struggling a bit of late, but I think it's worth a look, right? A guy that, does have some upside. Houston and Denver. So obviously there's a good amount of blowout risk here, but if the game stays competitive, you know why. It's going to be Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. We finally saw a good game from Wood, and again, it was against Rudy Gobert, right? Christian Wood went off 24, 9, and 5 with 4 steals and a block. So I think, obviously Jokic has some foul trouble risk, but he's in play for tournaments. And Kevin Porter Jr., I do kind of like here. Played 35 minutes in regulation, and he's just going to do a ton of the ball handling. So I think he looks pretty good there at 6K. Value-wise, if Eric Gordon and Schroeder are both out, we can look to Garrison Matthews. You're never going to be excited about playing him, but he played massive minutes. They ran basically an 8-man rotation last game. So Matthews, super, super cheap. I think he's a fair value if both those guys are, in fact, out. Moving on to Denver. So Nikola Jokic, 12-6. He somehow busted against the Thunder. I mean, that was an outlier for sure. Now he gets Houston. Just a great, great spot. If you have the salary, I think he looks good. Like I said, there is some blowout risk. Gordon, Barton, and Morris all look pretty similar. Boogie is a good point per minute guy if the game blows out. Maybe he plays a little bit more, but he's not like super, super cheap. I think Bones Highland's interesting off the bench at 3.6. Should play around 20 minutes. Maybe a little bit more if the game does blow out. All right, final game here, the Knicks and the Suns. Kind of an ugly late night hammer. Randall at 9.2 feels a little bit pricey. I think if I'm going to target one of the main Knicks, it's going to be RJ Barrett. Like I said, he's playing about 40 minutes a game. And he's been really, stuffing the stat sheet of late. So I think Barrett's the one guy I would look to. I don't think he gets much ownership against the Suns, but I think he's a decent contrarian play. Evan Fournier, this is the Evan Fournier I know and love. 1 of 8 shooting, 9 fancy points, but more often than not, he's going to play over 30 minutes and does have upside if he can knock down his shots, right? You're going to see the big Fournier game, like once every 10 games is to go for 40. I hate those games, even if you play Fournier. No one likes the Evan Fournier game. No one. Even if you have Evan Fournier and he goes off, you don't like it. No, like I said, no one likes when Evan Fournier does well. No one. Alec Burks at 5'3". I mean, it's Alec Burks. He's going to start at the point, probably play low 30s minutes. He's been disappointing of late. I do think Mitchell Robinson is a pretty sneaky tournament play. I think box score watchers might avoid him. Massive foul trouble here. Fouled out in 17 minutes. Massive foul trouble here. Massive foul trouble here. He's a guy that does have a ceiling, right? If you don't want to go back too far, 51 here. 58 here, 45 here. So if he can stay out of foul trouble and play close to 30 minutes, I think Robinson's a sneaky tournament play. And then Emmanuel Quickley's in play as well off the bench for GPPs. 26 and 20 minutes over the last couple of games is kind of good to see. So I think that does make him playable. And finally, the Phoenix Suns, who of course blew out the Blazers. Everyone that I played yesterday was in a blowout. Every single person. But yeah, I think these guys, if the game can stay competitive, like the main guys look pretty good. So DeAndre Ayton, 7K, should play low 30s minutes. Looks pretty solid. The wings and Bridges, Cam Johnson and Crowder. I think Cam Johnson once again looks the best. Even if he comes off the bench, he's going to be that scoring punch off the bench. So Cam Johnson, my favorite. But yeah, Bridges and Crowder both playing well as well. Campaign. So again, it was probably on pace for like mid to high 20s minutes that the game would have stayed competitive. We know he's going to be very productive without both the main Suns guards in the court. And keep an eye on the news. If there's like no limitation on Campaign, I think he looks phenomenal. Landry Shamit started last game, but like he's a very low usage guy. I mean, I guess you can consider him because he's so cheap. And then last guy I'll mention here is JaVale McGee, who, right, great point per minute guy. And if something happens to Ayton or some foul trouble, he can break the slate. So always someone I consider in tournaments because of how good of a point per minute guy he is. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. So let's hope tomorrow's slate goes way better than tonight. Because like I said, tonight is just incredible pain. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy, just make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I think we're at 11.2 thousand subscribers, and hit the notification bell just so you know when I upload and do go live. But thanks again, guys. Really appreciate everyone coming and checking out the video as always, and I will see you in the next one.